I have no idea. I don't remember. I mean, it'll come back. When I began working last year, I was fearful of any Stasco intervention like before. I was setting myself up to get interfered with their BS money in court, and too much was on the line, and the Froberg-Stasco Association knew it. Did you? Again, history was being set to repeat itself. Flashback, September 2001. I had regained my engineering career at the Precast Prestressed Concrete Institute, PCI. I don't know, people, why it wasn't PPCI. At a lucrative position as Director of Certification Programs. Oh my God, so this'll add how my family calls up companies to attack me. So I'm giving Jim little tidbits of how I've been under attack, and if you want to call me paranoid, well, since the Stascos admitted to doing this, Jim may not be apprised of it, but I'm saying look into my side of the story. So prior to getting this new job, prior to that, I had attended my cousin's wedding in New York. Oh, I'm so glad this is added. On September 29th, 2001, the anniversary of when Laura was killed. Ironically, not my doing. I mean, it came out. At the reception, and this was when things went dark for Miles. At the reception, up on the second floor balcony overlooking the party, the reception, I had separate conversations with Sam and Max, my nephews, Alan's kids. Individually, I asked them if they still took showers with Pop Pop, Miles's name given by them. Both replied, not so much anymore. So I didn't even ask these kids, do you take showers with Pop Pop, Miles? I just said, do you still do that? And just jumping to the chase, because they could have said, I don't know what you're talking about. But they assumed I knew, and they said, not so much anymore. Those words are in infamy in my mind, because that gave me credibility and credence to do what I did against Miles. He had a chance to come up and say no, but he didn't. He didn't. Back to letter. Knowing full well of my father's propensity for child pornography, I couldn't help but reflect on my own youth. The rest is history. In October, I received a distressing phone conversation from my sister-in-law. This is back at PCI. Patricia, my sister-in-law Patricia, indicating the abusive nature of my brother. He's an idiot, to say the very least. I don't have to prove it. He just does it by opening his mouth and breathing. Okay, that's getting my digs in. I wrote him, Alan, making extremely loathing statements of the abusive environment he was responsible for, and indicated that I would pay for Patricia's divorce if need be. I never heard from either of them until they arrived at my front door at Christmas unannounced. Nothing was ever said about the letter. Okay, what that little soundbite was that I get a call when I'm at PCI, and Patricia goes, your brother, I can't take it anymore. He's so mean, and I don't know if she was setting me up or if she was sincere, but I reacted. And, I talked to her for an hour and a half. And so I tell her exactly this, that, look, you just need to get away from him. He's bad news. I'll pay for the divorce, but if you're that miserable, get away from him. And I don't know if she was setting me up knowing how I'd respond or not. But I bet, because I wrote him, and on a little index card saying, you're a pig. I don't know what else I wrote, but so that was that. It was about. So they had reason to say I'm losing it because I reacted. I was lashing back at Alan, kind of out of the blue. They could play it up as. So the two major components that were the direct fallback from that situation were, one, a Stasco had contacted my employer and indicated that I had an alcohol-drug problem, but expressed concern over my well-being. Rather than get into a he-said-she-said ridiculous debate, just find Tom Bartles, oh my God, that's the president of PCI at the time, or Gary Munsterman, who's the office manager, and interview them, meaning as soon as I had that exchange with Patty, that they called the office and said, we can't get a hold of Brian, and we're hoping he's okay because we got a bizarre phone call, attacking Alan, and we don't know what's going on. And the thing is, they knew that I was at home with the flu, So they knew I wasn't going to be at the office, and they called the president and said, hey, we can't find Brian. We just want to know if he's okay. Is he at work? And they knew where I was. That's the length they went to, people. Ho, ho, ho. It gets way worse. And I think, and I had my ins and outs with Tom Battles. How? You can't make up these names. Gary Munsterman. Oh, not at a place yet. That I can see the road in the distance, but I can't reach it from here. I can't teleport yet. Although they are no longer with PCI, Tom Battles and Gary Munsterman, I would all but guarantee they would agree my resignation was abrupt due to drug-alcohol problems, which discredited my short tenure while at PCI. The other result of these allegations also fell into the relationship I had with an old professor from Purdue. Remember Professor Sutton? Way earlier video. Anyway, he was the guy that oversaw the education department, or the group at PCI. Professor Shelson, it's right here, people. Oh my God, Brian. Who was chair of the education program. Brian. Just read what you have first. See, that's what I do, though. I see that, and I feel like I have to explain who it is, and it's right here, but I don't look that far ahead. I should maybe pre-read it, but I want to be raw when I read these. Okay, I'm blathering on. You guys get what I mean? I take a test, I see Purdue, and then I just unload everything I know about Purdue. It says, we know who Purdue. Neither Battles, Munsterman, or Sutton had any prejudice against my character until Stayskulls planted their seed. You see, it never ends. Now, I quit PCI for a few other reasons, but when I knew my family was calling them up and saying that, telling them that they were concerned because I had all these drug and alcohol problems, I knew it was game over, and I wasn't going to drag this company down trying to prove who I was and everything else, because they had done the same thing with CTL. Not going there yet, but I quit. That was 50% of why I quit, but the other 50% were because of these two knuckleheads and what they were doing to the two people that were staff under me. Because I started going after these guys because they're harassing my secretaries. And I stood up for the secretaries. And that'll be 15 minutes. Wow. 15 videos to just set that up. No, I'm kidding. So, as you know, my family will stop at nothing to take me down. And I knew that and everything else. You get it. Concurrent with my resignation when I confronted Miles in 2002, he contacted an Illinois State DA, I forgot about this, and a Cook County Sheriff regarding my having gone crazy, which was reflected when I had a hearing for reinstatement of my driver's license. Without a doubt, the dialogue used against me was verbatim with statements I had heard in the past. I resigned from PCI under these terms, knowing full goddamn well that what I was up against. You wonder why I get gassy. Now I'm recreating my spastic colon. But I'm doing it for you people. When I confronted Miles, now Tom's calling me up at 11 o'clock, trying to catch me off my crazy, when I'm supposed to be drinking and turning into a monster at night. So he's calling me up and saying, I just have one last question. Oh, by the way, is it really 11 o'clock out there or 2 in the morning one time? Because sorry about that. I'm still, I'm in the mountain time, and I'm sorry if I called late. I didn't mean to catch you off guard. Yeah, I meant to catch you off guard. And I was lucid as a goose, if goose can get lucid. And, I talked to Tom. I said, look, I'm a little tired, but let me wake up, but keep talking because I don't want you to think that I've been drinking. And I called his bluff. I said, look, if you think I'm drinking or something, I'm not. And then this Cook County Sheriff one day, out of the blue, I get a bang, bang, bang on the front door. It was during the day, maybe late afternoon. Bang, bang, bang. And I go, and it's a Cook County Sheriff. And he goes, who are you? And I was like, who are you? And he goes, well, I'm looking for someone. What's your name? I said, Brian Stayskull. And he goes, Oh, okay. How long have you lived here? And I told him. And he goes, really? I was looking for someone, or he just made something up. But he goes, are you sure you've lived here that long? Because I know that this guy was told, I'm drunk, I'm delusional, and this guy would call up or ask, well, do you have a problem? Do you think he's okay now? They would have to play with the story and say, we don't know. And they go, do you want me to go out there and make a wellness check? Yeah, if you can. Because then they have another story to say, look, we were so concerned we had to call Cook County Sheriff. So the guy came out, not knowing what to expect. Bang, bang, bang. Who are you? You know, does the little gambit of what he was trained to do. I answered all the questions. And he goes, well, okay, sorry, it's my mistake. I didn't mean to, get you riled up, but I'm looking for someone and I'll let you go. So he was there for probably no more than 5 minutes, but he did his little interview. But that was totally out of the blue. What's this guy coming at Noak Park at 5 in the afternoon? It was late in the afternoon. But I was just like, I expected anything, and that's what I was getting. Oh, my God. All right, let's continue, because I'm remembering things as I read this. So, in a sense, the Stayskulls and I are getting more and more embroiled in this feud, escalating into a litigious battle exponentially, where you, Jim Flood, are pivotally at ground zero. And the guy's name had to be Flood, so we got Flood Stage and all the funny, plays on those words, and Tom Battles, and I got, Choose Your Battles as a chapter in the book. How can a guy like me avoid those coincidences? You guys are smart. You're good. So where were you at ground zero? Crazy versus the pedophile. Funny thing is, you have all the money. I don't know what I meant, but, B.S. Stayskull and B.S. Froberg Stayskull. And the 4 players, Miles, Allen, Patricia, and Bob Froberg. Whereas I'm obviously not playing with the full deck, pun intended. Let's see how one joker can trump all cards in the end. The Stayskull House of Cards has one weak link, money. It will be interesting for me, at least, as a structural evaluation engineer, thinking I'm smarter than the rest of the world, to test the compressive strength of the king post supporting the Stayskull Cauldron, where all the BS is getting concocted. Now, I'm thinking I've got all the cards, obviously, and, well, God shows me who's in charge in his own unique way. You have to admit, it's all a fine line here. Sane versus insane, family friend versus client, justice versus bribes. It could all go both ways. It could go both ways, right? Oh, wait, it's really drug interaction versus stroke, or drug interaction stroke / stroke. Take 2. It's really drug interaction / stroke versus crazy, which I will hold my brain hostage until further notice. Now remember, I was at the point where when I thought I was going to die, I go, the only evidence I have is what's left of my brain. So I was almost going to go to the county coroner saying, if you find my body, weigh my brain and all that and document what you find. Because, I'm sure they'll say suicide or something else. Natural causes plus 6 bullets. I don't know. Oh, God. So that jury has already deliberated its verdict, albeit an updated MRI and EEG would certainly make the decision final. Until then, I possess what no one else will be able to get on their own, a get-out-of-jail-free card. I gotta find that. I know I will. But then you'll say, well, you just made that up since. Well, you be the judge. Ooh, this is getting exciting. Because I'm getting excited. I'm like, I've got them. Lock, stock, barrel, checkmate, up, down, cross, this way, that way, depth, breadth. Ugh. You just wait, smart boy. Oh, my Lord, well, I should not shut up. I promise. But it'll take combined effort in an equal and fair trade environment to accomplish this. Meaning, I'll show you my cards, you show me yours. despite giving you more fuel to add to the crazy fire here in naming these individuals, any use of their testimony can go either way too. Meaning, all the people coming up to you saying he's crazy, use that. It will be in the final round when people have to declare themselves one way or another, when all the cards are finally getting played out. Quotation, is he really that crazy to take this matter to this extent? Close quote. You're goddamn right I am. What do I have to lose? I have nothing. I'm holding no cards and have no money at all. All I want is for their accountability for what they've done to me in this ridiculous process, and then I'll move on from there. I won't keep repeating. I know Bob likes Grisham novels. So do I. But this doesn't have to get played out like one if there's cooperation. Remember, your world has me down as a crazy person thanks to the association, Frobert states. I'm the only one having to establish credibility along the way of this goddamn journey on planet Stayskull Froberg, living in Stupid City, USA. This is just nearing the end of the first round of negotiations in order to get to a fair resolution. Obviously, I'll take this as far as you want me to go. I hope it ends soon, as I'm sure it will when rational minds prevail, or when I get a bullet in my head from pissing off so many people entrenched in the legal system, it's no longer funny. I hope faking a suicide is too easy to detect. That is, unless the police chief dumbass conducts the investigation. I'm taunting him. Then anything's possible, as it would imaginably get ruled as a death by natural causes, resulting from a really nasty brain fart that caused my head to explode. Right now, local law enforcement and the supporting legal system have a renowned reputation in the back of my mind to serve and protect the criminal. Go figure how I've drawn this conclusion. So, that speaks for itself. In conclusion, oh thank God this guy just goes on forever. In conclusion, not to get all Confucius versus Gandhi versus Yogi Berra on you, but after 2002, my spirit wasn't quite broken, but I had a hell of a rough time and fight. After last Thanksgiving, 07, it's been like deja vu all over again, and now I'm broken in many ways. Oh, lordy, lordy. Aside from that, my bend but don't break defense is getting stronger the more I push the issues. That's a lie, but I had to put up front. All you can break is trust. Right now, all I have left is my word and honor, and as the saying goes, you can't fix what ain't broke. I hope the same goes for you. Adding to my own version of personal philosophy applied to my integrity, BS, you break it, you bought it. Seems like an even sword, applicable to both our cases in many, many ways. Someone can always look at the facts from different angles. However, as obtuse as I can be in dialogue and script, I really draw the line when it comes down to child abuse. The whole reason this thing started, Miles, stop doing what you're doing. Bottom line is this. From the beginning of this whole goddamn affair, all I needed was enough help to get Miles to recognize his lifelong problems and get family members involved to determine if anything was ever done to Sam and Max. And so here we are. My first wife let that opportunity go by denouncing the conversations she had with Patricia. Jane talked to Patricia. They know the truth. And they decided it's a lot better to go with the game and get all the reaps and benefits of vacations and be included in inheritance and everything else than to do, deal with the pedophilia stuff. This could have easily been stopped back in 2002, then and there. But I failed to convince her, I think Patricia or Jane, otherwise. She's the one who has to live with the fact that fact for the rest of her life. Not me, I think Jane. Her career at Rotary International in Evanston would certainly not be the same when all is said and done. Okay, meaning Jane. It's like, Jane, you're protecting a pedophile, and you know it. You know it because you had everything confirmed with Patricia. Not so much with me twisting my legs, but with all the porn and everything else. Because you saw the porn. You and Alan watched the porn. I'm not going to hold back on that. Carolyn joked about you guys being all funky with that stuff. And just think what will happen to the Stayskulls after the truth comes out. Maybe now I can understand why they've done what they've done to themselves. But I warned them. And I have a big load of documents well distributed for the past 5 years verifying this concern. No, it's not a delusion. It's a fact. And for them to have done to me what they've done, they are certainly hiding a little more than just some beeping kiddie porn that was in the house growing up. Unfortunately, that's not a fact, but a gut feel. I really need the good side of law to help me from here on out. Good versus evil? How cliche, yet appropriate for this godforsaken mess. Oh yeah, the pen is mightier than the sword. Stuff applies here too. Oh my God, there's another page. But sorry about swearing, but just came out. You guys have heard that word. I don't hope, presumably. Oh, good Lord, Stayskull, shut up. Oh, that's right. I know what I was doing here. This is kind of fun. Oh, I know exactly what I was doing. There's a little more play going on here. Oh, that's right. Another storyline I've heard before is that I'm extremely intelligent, but after going crazy, I sit here and fabricate things into excuses in an effort to blame all my problems and everything else on others. That's totally ridiculous. Like I'm not bored enough sitting here all day with nothing to do but write another 8-page diatribe to piss off more people just because of the state I'm in. Oops, never mind. Ha ha. I guess this is 8 pages. Next, I thought it was 5, maybe 6. Next time, the last time I'm going through this letter writing campaign, meaning next week's letter, you'll get a sample of what happens when someone has no balls during childhood to protect himself, but then is forced to be a total Dick Tracy at a later point in life. Miles Stayskull mashed my testicles together so hard when I was a kid. It's there. He did this so hard together when I was a kid that I now have huge ballpoint pens. Ugh. And as the saying goes, it ain't over till it's over. For him, it will be over sooner than later if he isn't dead meat already. Oh, sorry guys, I didn't know about that. I didn't think that ever got out, but it is what it is. P.S. Oh, P.S. I don't know if you're supposed to forward this letter. See, I feel like I've gotten him a checkmate, so I was like, what are you going to do? P.S. I don't know if you're supposed to forward this letter to a representative from ARDC before it was opened, as that to me would be a clear demonstration that you severed ties beforehand and that our attorney-client privileges were terminated. However, the possibility exists that this letter, along with prior correspondences in October, has been reviewed by you and then forwarded to ARDC. In my opinion, this would suggest that our attorney-client privileges remain intact. Meaning if he stays on top, but if he stays on top being honest, he'd say, look, ARDC, I'm working with him, and this is to let you know that he knows that I'm helping him. I gave everybody an out. Can that be? I hope that's what you see. That's what I meant. Either way, I just don't know how anyone can figure out all this legal stuff and keep everything straight while remaining on the up and up, morally versus ethically. Regardless, I do appreciate the fact that in some bizarre way, you have completely fulfilled your obligation to me that for that initial $500 down payment with many bonus features to boot. Oh, let me re-say it. Regardless, I do appreciate the fact that in some bizarre way, you have completely fulfilled your obligation to me for that initial $500 down payment with many bonus features to boot. So that means I did send him $500 check. Now, you are a little more cognizant of the hostile environment the Stasko family is capable of producing and has continually provided me over the years, which I have just begun return in kind. I just wish I knew which side you're on these days. Time cards will tell all. Send me a bill if that's the case, and it's all on me. Meaning, if he's documenting his time, and I'll tell you why this letter was 8 pages. Otherwise, this is all going to criminal court one way or another. Bank on it. Ha ha. So the reason it was 8 pages, because I know attorneys hate bullshit letters. Meaning, they have to, if they can charge a client, they love it. But this is on Jim's time that he goes, at this point, he goes, I'm doubling down. So I'm digging in my heels. So however long it took to read this, he had to read it and reread it and then look into, so I'm going to waste his time going, I'm serious. And I made it 8 pages, probably for some other reason, but beyond to exhaust an exorbitant amount of time for him to, which is it? Because I'm doubling down and you're heavily involved. You're the little pivotal person in this whole thing now. So I was going to exhaust as much of his time, and attorneys just don't throw. He's a great guy. He's a down-to-earth, straight-up attorney, cop, everything. Because he submitted all these letters, and I'll show you the little tags proving that he did. But I got to wrap this up, and we got one more quickie after this. But that just gave out all the things that were going out at this time. And let's just make sure I could have properties. So October 15th, 2008. So this will wrap this one up. We'll kind of wrap up Jim on the whole thing, because he played it up front. He did what he did because obviously his choice was play it up front. You can bill me for all this time, and then you legally have to collect from me because I told you, carte blanche. And then you can put it all on me, and I have to pay you back. And you can take me to court if I renege on that thing, because we had a contract. But he played it straight. I don't know about his time cards. I never saw that, but let me wrap up on the next one. I'll be back.